Think about the actions you repeat every day: entering data into a spreadsheet, answering emails, wiping down a counter, or stamping a piece of paperwork. We all carry a baseline ambition to do something that matters. Yet, when we look at our actual minute-by-minute schedules, those grand ambitions seem completely detached from the repetitive labor sitting right in front of us. Psychologists identify this gap as a vacuum of meaning. It is a problem of framing. It happens when we judge a task purely by its isolated mechanical parts, rather than the larger system those parts support. The apathy we feel during a Tuesday afternoon slump derives directly from the lens through which we view our place in the system, rather than the physical mechanics of the task itself. To close that gap and solve this modern apathy, we need to examine a specific anomaly in organizational behavior that took place at the height of the space race. In the early 1960s, the United States was operating under a strict, urgent mandate: put a human being on the lunar surface before the end of the decade. You can see the scale of that mandate in rooms exactly like this one. NASA facilities were filled with top-tier engineers, massive monitors, and teams managing thousands of complex, simultaneous calculations. During a tour of the headquarters, President John F. Kennedy walked the facility floor, greeting those scientists and asking technical questions about the rockets. But as he walked down a corridor away from the main control rooms, he noticed a janitor working alone, holding a mop and bucket. Kennedy walked over to the man. With genuine curiosity about the facility's operations, he asked him, "What do you do here?" The janitor stopped, stood up tall, and replied, "Mr. President, I'm helping put a man on the moon." It is easy to write that off as poetry or a momentary delusion of grandeur. From a systems engineering perspective, however, it was a precise demonstration of organizational clarity. That janitor was utilizing a psychological mechanism called cognitive reframing. He understood how a completely isolated action reliably forces a systemic outcome. This diagram maps out that strict causal chain. At the very beginning, we have the objective reality of the physical labor being performed, the mop. The immediate physical consequence of using that mop is the removal of debris or spills. It eliminates a workplace hazard. By maintaining a secure physical environment, the building operates without friction. Elite scientists don't trip, operations aren't delayed by accidents, and complex mathematical equations proceed without interruption. Those uninterrupted calculations yield the precise orbital mechanics required to hit a very narrow Apollo launch window. And this photograph of the American flag planted in the lunar dust proves the final result of that alignment. In a strictly dependent system, if the very first node breaks, the final node cannot execute. Because of this, the janitor recognized his mop for what it actually was: a literal aerospace tool. We can take that exact same logic out of the 1960s space program and apply it directly to the work you are doing today. Organizations hand you a job title, but a title is static. It offers zero internal motivation. What drives focus is mission alignment. The cognitive difference is whether you see yourself staring at a single piece of clay and mortar or visualizing the massive cathedral you are constructing. You apply the psychology of the mop to your own routine by tracing the line from your most frustrating, microscopic chore all the way up to your highest personal or professional value. Look at the specific tasks waiting for you tomorrow morning and identify the moon you are actually trying to reach. Human dignity and enduring purpose are never granted to us by a manager or an authority figure. They are forged entirely by our choice to link our smallest actions to our greatest shared ambitions.